And welcome into the Monday edition, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar back in the house this week. Ian, welcome back to the program.
Good morning. Thank you. Came down with a little something from the airport, but doing good. Thanks. Good to be back.
It's not diaspora, is it? Is that what it's called?
I sure hope not. I'm not sure how that affects the nasal cavities.
I sure hope not, too.
But I'll keep you posted later. Let me know if I run out of the studio.
Stay off the produce.
That affects some other cavities, from what I hear.
Nice.
Well, that was that good at 6:02 in the morning. It's going to be a heck of a week here on the show.
Boom.
Going to be a heck of a week. Joe, how we doing?
Way to start it off.
What's going on?
Good. I'd like to apologize to my neighbors. I don't know, who may have been. I mean, someone must have been affected by the fact that we had like a freaking college party at our house Saturday. It was good to have our middle child home for one day the whole summer. He made the most of it by basically inviting all his friends over to our house, going downtown. I woke up Sunday morning. I was like, wow, there's a kid on every single bed, piece of floor, and couch in my house this morning. Okay. So I'm like, you know what? Sorry that you guys would probably like to sleep all day, but I'm making everybody breakfast burritos, and I'm going to make a lot of noise and wake you up. So That's what I did. So sorry to the neighbors. I'm sure
established dominance. It's your house.
Yeah, exactly. Clang some pans, and it's like, all right, and you can leave or you can eat and leave, but can't stay here. But apologies to the neighbors, because there's absolutely no way that there wasn't somebody disrupted or awakened by some of these kids carrying on the way kids do.
Yep. Hey, shout out to you though for the breakfast burritos. That's clutch.
Yeah, man. Obviously my homemade taco meat. With my own special recipe. Got the black beans. Got the I made bacon and sausage too that you can put on it. Had the avocado, obviously. Multiple kinds of hot sauce. And corned beef hash on the side. You know that. Know the corned beef hash is on the side. Like way too many of these kids turn down the corned beef hash. I'm like, dude, try the corned beef hash. You may not have heard of corned beef hash. Trust me, corned beef hash is amazing. A couple of them were like, "Oh wow, that actually is really good." So
it's like I'm trying to steer you kids in the right direction.
Exactly.
All you gotta do is let me.
What do you put in the corned beef hash?
So the corned beef hash, I've never made it homemade. I want to at some point. It's canned.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can find it's like Hormel. You can find it at the grocery store. So it's sort of. It's not prominently featured at most grocery stores. Like at mine, it's like at the bottom shelf. You have to go find it. But, it's basically just little potatoes and corned beef. But, man, you fry that up with a big, big lump of butter. I'm just telling you, man.
K-Dodd on the YouTube chat looking for a vacation gout check for Ian. Ian, how are we feeling about potential gout? You feel like you're okay? You've missed the boat there.
Gout-wise, I think I'm okay.
That's good.
I mean, we did eat very good. New York. We went to Chinatown.
Oh, yeah.
Had a big lunch there at our place we always go to. 17 Wohop is the name of the restaurant there on Mott Street.
Okay.
And then we did pizza, of course, one night. We did some ramen, pho, whatever we did that one night.
Nice.
We did a barbecue one night. So overall, I'd say the gout was pretty good.
That's good.
Food wise, pretty delicious. I'm actually hungry already. So I probably did put on some weight, used to eating a little bit more. I had at least 3 bagels. But
that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, New York food. It's still, and I think it's cheaper there than it is here. We had some ramen yesterday. I think it was cheaper in New York.
I mean, we are, as a city, we are advancing quickly up
we are
non-affordability ranking.
Yeah.
I like how Ian has the sniffles, and we're asking him if he has gout and explosive diarrhea.
Ian, any more areas of your body we could check on?
Well, we did have 2 separate trips to the Nashville airport.
You did,
which perhaps may make a rant later in this week when I feel a little bit better and my voice sounds better.
I think so.
So yeah, there's no telling what you can pick up from the airport, especially when you're in there an extra time.
It's true.
For multiple hours.
That will be a rant I very much look
Man.
forward to later this week.
Yes.
Very much so. We got a lot going on the program today. Cory Curtis from News 2 for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock on the program here today. The Rob rant coming up a little bit later in the show. It is Titans training camp starting this week, so we will be all over that throughout the show as well. Take your thoughts in the meantime, 615-737-1025. But, Joe, in typical sporting news fashion, we were waiting all week last week for a decision on the LeBron James front. And then we got off the air, and it happened, 45 minutes after we were off the air on Friday. And he is now with the Philadelphia 76ers. So let's start there. What do you make of LeBron, Philadelphia being the decision? And how do you view the 76ers with all this in mind heading into the year?
At one point during this whole process, we settled on we thought that would be it, right? Like at some point, it was like, this is.
It made the most sense from a lineup perspective.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So I was surprised because there's all this stuff about your Miami Heat. I mean, I'd kind of given up on him joining the Warriors. So it seemed to me like it was down to the Cavs and Heat. Like if you would have, and I think the betting odds reflected that, right? I think they did at the end. So yeah, for that to then come back with him going to Philly, I was surprised. One thing about this whole thing, I know some of it is like his agent, like, Rich Paul's like, well, he's not chasing a ring. So people are like all like dogging him for chasing a ring. And it's like, what else would you be doing right now?
Yeah. Why else would he be playing?
Yeah. Of course he's chasing a ring. Everybody's chasing a ring. So, I mean, from that perspective, I do think that the Giannis thing would have been interesting, although apparently there's a lot of reporting after the fact that Giannis was like, actually, I really don't want LeBron to come here, please, But you had the I guess the play with Steph thing could have been fun, and you had the go back home storyline. But yeah, from a basketball perspective of chasing a ring, one, go to the East, right?
Yes.
And two, yeah, look, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work out, but with Maxey and with Brown, and if by some miracle Joel Embiid and all these guys can be healthy when it matters most next year, I mean, they could be pretty interesting.
I don't even know that I'd play Embiid until the playoffs. I'd be like, you just sit down, man. Just keep yourself healthy until April, please. Thanks.
Like once a month, get him out there. You play like 12 minutes tonight, just to like kind of get a little
body going. A little bit.
Get a little run in, get a little sweat. Work with LeBron a little bit out there.
It has been interesting to watch Rich Paul do like damage control after all this, because like if you ask Rich Paul, everybody that was rumored that he was going to sign with at one point was leading the sweepstakes. Like it's just like, at one point it was going to be Golden State, and then at one point it was going to be Miami, and it's like, okay, I mean, what does all that mean? I mean, I'm sitting here reading a ESPN article that Wendy put together of he told Ramona Shelburne on Friday night that he thought he was LeBron was heading to Miami. I was like, okay. Or excuse me, Thursday night that he's heading to Miami. And the next morning he signs in Philadelphia. It's like, well, either you're lying or you're the most uninformed agent of all time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron, his agent and his son, and no one knows. Yeah. That's a hell of a job of keeping a secret, or of actually just having no idea what you're doing and just
Philadelphia. Sure.
Yeah, throw a dart at a board. But all of it. I'm glad it's over. It's we got training camp week now, football, whatever, as much football as you can get at this point is starting. So it's move on. I mean, I'm interested. It's gonna be they're gonna be must see, the Sixers next year. They've been good already, and I mean Brown and LeBron there. That's interesting.
Boy,
man.
if they start poorly and they just start getting booed all the time by Sixers fans, that could be amazing. That could be a special combination.
Oh man, I mean, like the first missed shot LeBron has will probably get booed by somebody, right? There's nothing like Philadelphia fans.
I mean, they're definitely gonna do I haven't seen. They haven't released the schedule yet, have they? But they're definitely going to do Philadelphia Knicks season opener, right? That would be my guess.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And Christmas Day, would make sense too. Sixers Celtics, you have that too. But I mean it's we definitely don't have a schedule yet because we still don't know exactly how many games the Grizzlies are playing here. That'll be interesting to find that out.
Yes, it will.
Maybe we'll get some Sixers. Do we get some Sixers in Nashville?
Yeah, I think if I was Memphis and that happened, if I was a Memphis fan, I would probably riot at that point. Like, really? You guys are going to take LeBron and the 76ers and put them in Nashville, huh?
Yeah.
I'd make LeBron open the season in Memphis. That's what I'd do. If I was in charge of the schedule, I'd be like, guess where you're playing first? Memphis.
I hope that's what happens. Yeah, like if I'm a Memphis fan, if it's anyone but like the Wizards and Kings here,
Yeah.
I'm angry.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We are off and running on Robby and Rexrode. It is training camp week for the Tennessee Titans. We have made it to the official start of football season with training camp coming up later this week. What are the top non-Cam Ward storylines that we're looking forward to once Titans camp opens? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. It is Reaction Monday, brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, it is training camp week here for the Tennessee Titans. They, I guess, officially report tomorrow and then they'll be on the field on Wednesday. So we have made it to training camp, to, I guess, the unofficial start of NFL season. Other teams have opened up around the league. We've seen some headlines around the NFL that we'll get into a little bit later in the hour coming up. But, Joe, obviously we're going to spend a lot of time now until February, at least, talking about Cam Ward and the season that he has. And we're going to get into a little bit of Cam Ward stuff later in the program today. But I ask you, if you had to roll off of maybe a couple of things that are of most interest to you heading into Titans training camp that are non-Cam Ward storylines, what are maybe a couple of things that jump out to you as we enter into training camp this week?
Well, I can do Carnell Tate, right?
You can.
Okay. So Carnell Tate, is obviously a big deal. You just want to see him ascending and making plays and having good chemistry with Cam Ward and establishing himself as a guy who from week one on, he's going to be key. An obvious one is the offensive line. You have limitations in what we find out in camp. The joint practices are helpful. Even when they put pads on, you're going to have Dan Moore, and we'll call him Dan. Sorry, Man. Well, you'll have Man and JC out there blocking. John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, and Falk, and and Femi Oladejo. Like, how do those things kind of give us any indication? There's also the interior of the offensive line too, which look like they're going to be overmatched, at least on the right side, because I think a lot of teams are going to have a real problem with Jeff Simmons, John Franklin Myers. Plus, how much is Jeff Simmons going to practice? I don't know. But the whole defensive front, which again, I think you got some solid veterans, and then you got young guys you really hope come on against those tackles. And how does that look? Do we start to we've had that before? We started to get a feel for man, Dylan Radin's really struggling out there, or there's plenty of tackles over the years. It's some of it.
Arden Key's an all-pro out there.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, there was the guy whose name I constantly forget about whenever it's Ola.
Adaney?
Yes, Adaney. Now, he did actually become the surprise story of this team, but he was just destroying Radins over and over again. So it kind of told us both things a little bit, right? So there's things you can find out. I'm interested in Anthony Hill Jr. and whether he can do enough in camp. I've heard TD, and I think I've heard TD say this several times, and I agree with him. I think it's something people need to keep in mind. I mean, he fully expects Cedric Gray and Cody Barton to be those two starting linebackers. But does Anthony Hill Jr. make enough noise to give himself a chance? Like TD pointed out, yeah, Cedric Gray was hurt as a rookie, but also he was swimming. And that, that second level on defense, there's just a lot more thinking, a lot more responsibility than just playing corner or playing up front, right? And so I'm interested to see if Hill, though, can make a move. I'm very interested in running back. And, Nick Singleton coming off the injury, but does he look like a dude? I don't think it'll take too long before it's kind of okay, he's just a guy out there, or it's oh my, they might have gotten themselves a little bit of a steal. Now, I think Singleton is full. Is he full go?
As far as I know.
I think he's all, he's not on the pup or anything. So, I mean, I think he's a really, obviously with these storylines going to camp, a lot of it is new guys, but if you want to point at just individuals, obviously Tate, but Singleton's really of interest. And both of those edges, I mean, Falk and Oladejo, do they look like guys?
Well, after Joe listed the whole team,
I got more.
I know.
I haven't even gotten to special teams, man.
That's right. Well, I would say early in camp on the defensive side, what are the additions of Alante Taylor, Cordell Flott look like? Because I think early in camp, that's actually something you can look at. My real answer on the defensive side of the ball is Keldrick Falk and Femi Oladejo, but I just don't know how much you're going to know until we get a little bit later into camp when they start putting the pads on, or at least the shells on, and getting through some of those drills. So that part of it is going to be really interesting. I think specifically with Falk, how do they use him? Because, I mean, everybody thinks of him as an edge rusher, but we've talked with TD about this. We've talked with Cory Curtis about this. Like, my guess is they're probably going to move him around a little bit. Like, he'll be on the edge, but they'll move him inside every now and then when they feel like they need to. He did that in college where he was moved around a little bit. So we'll see what that looks like. But, I mean, they need at least one of those guys, and preferably both, in Falk and Oladejo, to come in and be able to give you something this year. Now, Falk's a first-round pick. I do feel like he is one of the most under-discussed first-round picks we've ever had around here, just because he wasn't the only first-round pick, and you drafted a wide receiver at number 4 overall. So that part of it's going to be interesting. I mean, you're talking obviously a late first-rounder in Keldrick Falk, but he is a first-round pick, and I'm excited to see what he can do. But, like, I already think it's really important anyway in your corner group to stay healthy, because I think there's a baseline level of play that Alontae Taylor and Flott are going to be able to give you. We talked about Harris. I don't know what to expect on that front, but you need to see Taylor and Flott making plays in camp, because if they're not and they're getting beat all the time, I guess we could go the old that could tell us two things thing, or is that either the Titans receiving core is unbelievable, or maybe those guys aren't as good as they're being paid to be. So very interested early to see what specifically Taylor and Flott look like out there.
Yeah. And one thing you really want is for them to look like they're playing every day, because that's another thing is like who is being bothered by nagging injuries. Again, I don't expect Jeffrey Simmons he's not going to be like Derrick Henry in the sand pit, but I
don't need to see a whole lot from Simmons in training camp.
Right. But you want those corners to be out there every day. And the offensive, I mean, obviously JC on the health front, I mean, JC Latham is a massive story all on its own. Like, is this a thing? Is this just being cautious here early and ramping it up, or is this just going to just keep bothering him? Because it's already a big enough climb for him to like get good enough to where he needs to be. This is a massive year for him, but if there's serious health stuff that's dogging him, it just really doesn't bode well. Hooker, I guess, we'll find out about that too, exactly what he's looking at. But those corners are really important, and the depth behind them is really questionable. And if they can be out there again, just think of the last guy who they invested so much in, who not only was he not nearly good enough, but the biggest problem was that he just wasn't available.
Oh, that's same thing with Tate, right? Like, after Burks, and now you're talking about Tate being a 4th overall pick. Burks is a first-round wide receiver, and the guy from the jump, you were just worried to death about him staying healthy out there. Like, it would be great. Number one, yes, Tate to make plays, but number two, let's get through camp here and let's not have any, hamstring injuries or anything that you're worried about being a nagging thing heading into the regular season. Like, it's training camp. You're going to run into some of that. Yeah. Like, it's going to be impossible to get through the entirety of training camp and have everybody be completely healthy the whole time. So I understand that heading into it. But, like, if you could, if you're Robert Saleh and deep down, like, you could choose position groups where you would stay healthy. I mean, wide receiver would be one where I'd be like, let's keep those guys healthy for as long as humanly possible out there.
Yeah. Yes. It's going to, Ridley is, as much as I think he's like in the minds of Titans fans, and even us, like, he's already kind of being phased out, but it's kind of a big deal. Like, you could really have something with that receiving core if you actually had a good version of him this year. And that takes some pressure off Tate. The trio of those guys of Ridley, Tate and Robinson could be pretty good. And then you mix in a little bit of the two, rookies from last year, and you've got yourself a pretty interesting receiving core. But is Ridley, is he going to be healthy? And it's kind of for him too, a career. Like, is he fading out? Is he actually fading out with his career, or is this going to be one of those years that actually helps him extend it a little bit?
Yeah, man. And if he is a good player, right? Like, if he's still got some juice left to him, I mean, to me, in some ways, that kind of transforms what the Titans receiving group can be, because I think some of the excitement. I mean, obviously Tate leads the excitement, but if you look at the depth, I mean, you feel like you've got 5 guys right now that can play, right? And that you're not worried about putting on the field. Like even Io Manor, like he showed enough last year. It's like, yeah, he can play. Like I'm not worried about him not being good enough to be in an NFL game on the field, which has not always been the case with Titans receivers around here lately. So like I'm feeling good about that. But like if Ridley can still be like if Ridley's healthy and he's still like a 1,000-yard level guy, I mean that's a pretty big deal for your receiving core at that point. And I think the main thing you just talked about is it takes a little bit of the pressure off of Tate. I mean there's a baseline of pressure that's going to be there with a 4th overall pick, but if you can get Ridley to be number 1 healthy and number 2 still relatively productive, that changes what the receiving core kind of is heading into this year.
Yeah, I don't look at it like either or with them. I look at it like, yeah, get both of them going. Robinson's going to be a high volume guy, but both those guys on the outside playing well, kind of looks like it might be a interesting offense if they can block anybody.
615-737-1025. We are off and running on Robby and Rexrode on the Titans front. Training camp opening this week for the Titans. We'll take your thoughts, your questions on the Titans on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, you want to know how one of the ways I know we're back into full football discussion? People are mad at Pro Football Focus. I saw this over the weekend. Titans fans upset. So Pro Football Focus has released their top 32 players at tight end heading into the 2026 season. So, I mean, you're thinking 32. There's 32 NFL teams. Surely Gunnar Helm will be on there somewhere. He's not. He is not on the list. He's not anywhere from 1 to 32. And there are some names that you would recognize that maybe used to be good. Like Chig is on here at 25. So that's interesting.
It's that rough at tight end in this league. Huh?
Yeah. So Chig is on there. I mean, Evan Ingram from the Broncos is at number 30. It's like, 4 years ago, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet of the Bears. It was like, okay. But he's at 31. But
Antonio Gates.
Yeah.
Somewhere on there.
Exactly.
Still in the top 10.
Gunnar Helm not on the list. So Titans fans saw that. Not very happy about it. Maybe some quote unquote bulletin board material for Gunnar Helm heading into training camp. Joe, your thoughts on PFF not putting Gunnar Helm in the top 32?
We also didn't even mention him in the segment about storyline, so I guess we're disrespecting him too. So, okay, so there are some teams with multiple tight ends on here then.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a miss on their part. Are they? I never know. With Pro Football Focus, are they doing this purely a numbers thing for them? Like, in other words, they're going off like last year's PFF grades. Or they're just ranking. They're just subjectively ranking people. Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually not a very good reflection on profile. Like, it's not worth anyone getting actually mad about or outraged, but I mean, I don't think that's a very good reflection on them, especially like if Chig's on there. And not that like we're projecting a lot with Gunnar Helm. We're projecting, right? He has not, I mean, he had a good, promising rookie year. So there's some projection at hand, but if you're going to do this and rank players subjectively, you should have a better feel for like the young guys who might be actually breaking out this year, and he's definitely one of them.
Can you guess
one more reason I don't like Pro Football Focus?
Can you guess the top five tight ends? Pro Football Focus.
Let's see. I will say obviously McBride.
He's number 2.
Bowers.
He's number 3.
Do they have Laporta in there? The back injury, man, that's a little bit,
Is that a guess?
I'll guess.
He's number 4.
Okay.
So you got 2, 3, and 4, missing 1 and 5.
I mean, do they have like Kittle 1?
They do.
Okay. I mean, that's
Kittle's
a guy
you will not get number 5.
So it's not Tyler Warren?
It is not.
Okay.
Tyler Warren is 10th.
Okay. I mean, and that's a little bit of, for me to put him their projection too. Travis Kelce.
He's number 9.
Okay.
5
Still
is Colston Loveland of the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's a promising young player, but that's funny because if you're going to do that, because I could see it, but if you're going to do that, then you can't not have Gunnar Helm anywhere, right? Like
you would think.
Kind of okay. Interesting. PFF.
Apparently some Titans fans are really mad about that. Gunnar Helm, eat it up, buddy, heading into camp. Let's get that motivation going this year.
Just put that PFF symbol right in his locker.
There won't be this many one-arm push-ups that a Titans player has done since Tannehill was playing against the Dolphins that 1 week,
So yeah,
getting ready to go.
But it's for PFF, so it's like he's doing the one-arm push-ups in advance of them coming out with their daily grades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Screw these guys. Chris Collinsworth, pound sand out there, man.
That's right. I always forget that he owns that thing. Very weird.
Or we're reminded every time there's a NBC broadcast. He comes sliding in. Oh, it's Chris Collinsworth. There's all these PFF grades.
That's right. We do. Yeah, that's right. We get the PFF grades. Thank goodness. Thank goodness get those PFF grades.
I am interested to see how Chig does in Washington this year. I mean, he seems to think that he's going to go there and just be unlocked as this super weapon. So we'll see.
I'm sure he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll make some plays. He's talented. He's not overwhelmingly talented, but he's talented to make some plays. I've got a lot of people asking about, well, not a lot, but a few people are asking about Titans picking people up, and stuff like that. I feel like I get it, but like I don't know that there's any burning need to go out and get any of these old guys who are out there waiting for.
They've already made some moves, like they've picked up people at center and tackle, and what I'm hoping is they get through camp and they look at the way that their offensive linemen are performing in camp, and they realize maybe they don't have to go try to pick up anybody else. That'd be great. I don't know what that's going to look like. Like, I mean, first off, you can never predict injuries, but like I don't think the Titans are going to sign Joey Bosa, if that's what you're getting at. Like, I don't think you're bringing in any of those big names, or at least I guess former big names that are still out there. Like, I'd be surprised if the Titans brought in any of those guys.
Yep, and those guys, in a lot of cases, it's a ring chase to some extent, right? Of course, anybody who will pay me. If there's someone who's going to overpay, okay, fine, maybe that changes the discussion. But for the most part, they're going to teams that are looking for another just a little bit added juice are looking at them. The Titans are not in that position. DJ Solly on YouTube says Gunnar Helm's a known name right now. Yeah, but if you're Pro Football Focus, you should know his name, and he's worth putting in your top 32. I mean, he's the best tight end on this team, and I think he's going to produce pretty well.
You'll be stunned to know that the Titans also do not have a player ranked in the top 32 of PFF's tackle rankings as well heading into this year. Latham and Mandor just missing out.
Dang. Yeah, I guess it's not surprising with Latham. I guess with Mandor, you'd hope that like your starting left tackle
He did not make it.
Again, so to clarify, this is tackles right and left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at least, so you got 64 starters. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks with Mandor.
It does.
Can't wait till he shows up at the studio.
Yeah, that could be a bad day for us. I mean, that's there. I'm making sure I did not have an oversight. Yep, not in there. Does PFF know the Titans exist?
Well, is Jeffrey Simmons? If he's unranked, then we can say no. So, and by the way,
I haven't seen those yet.
Trevor asking about. Yeah, I saw that Tavondre Sweat's. Well, he's on the pup right now, right? Start camp.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah, a hammy for a dude that big. It's not great.
Skylar asking if there's another team that has massive question marks at offensive line every single year, like the Titans do.
More than you would think. Like we've talked about this before. I bet you like there's probably 25 solid fan bases in this league who think their offensive line sucks. But the Titans are on an incredible run.
It's on a heck of a run. I don't know if it's quite like this, where it's like every year,
right? Can
you find somebody to play left tackle, or like somebody? Can you get two tackles going at the same time? Like it's been an impressive run that they're on of futility.
Yeah, if you go and it's purely related to bad drafting, right? First round Isaiah Wilson, second round Dylan Radins, third round Dylan Radins, third round Nicholas Petit Frere, first round J.C. Latham. Are we going to be talking about that again?
God, I hope not.
But we might be.
Yeah,
looks like the Jets put Sweat on the. What is it called? Not the PUP, but the active non-football injury list.
Oh, okay.
For Sweat.
So does that mean that like he strained the hammy, like fixing his roof or something? Like what?
Pulled a hammy doing something non-football related, perhaps, huh?
Pulled a hammy running to
the bagel shop,
my kitchen for some corned beef hash.
Yeah. Hey. Ian talked about to begin the show. The bagels in New York, pretty good, man.
They are. I mean, there's a lot of food there.
That's tricky for Tavondre Sweat. We didn't think about that. Sure, there's no Southern fried foods as much, right? But there's no
some
lack
stuff.
of good food out there.
Yeah. The food's very good. Yeah. That's interesting. I need to know more about that. That is kind of confusing.
I mean, we can't have him miss the game in week 1, right? Like we got to get the rubber match at full strength out there. Robert Saleh, Tavondre Sweat, Jermaine Johnson, get them all going out there. Jarvis Brownlee.
Yeah, I want to have a chance to test my theory. I still think that of those scenarios that Tavondre Sweat becoming a monster this year would be the worst thing.
He's off to a rough start.
Yeah, he is off to a rough start. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully he can play. I mean, I wish him the best,
I do too. He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll get to some other storylines around the NFL Coming up next, take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Training camp's getting fired up around the NFL. And Sean McVay discussing the potential return of Aaron Donald. So, Joe, I doubt very seriously that Aaron Donald is in a super hurry to, get to training camp here for the LA Rams. Like, I think if he does sign, maybe a little while before he actually gets in to see, whether or not he can miss out on some training camp practice. But obviously that was a hot topic of conversation out in LA. And McVay said, quote, Donald putting himself in a position to make a decision. He's earned the right to be able to do that. He's going through a very strict regimen and a process that is similar to when he played to see how his body responds and feels. If that is something that he wants to do, we're going to try to make it happen, was the quote from McVay there. So there's a ramp-up period it looks like Aaron Donald is going through. And I guess at this point, Joe, I would be very surprised if he gets through this ramp-up period, remains healthy, and then says, you know what, I just don't think I'm going to play. It just kind of sounds like everybody involved is expecting this to happen relatively soon.
Yeah, let me translate McVay. Yeah, he doesn't want to do camp, so we'll see him right around the end of camp. Now he's playing. There's no way all this confirmation. There's no way if you're doing all these things. You seriously think you're going to do all these things? Be like, I'm only about 88% of what I was previously, which still makes me one of the most dominant players in the league. So, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let me go through all this stuff of getting in shape, and then, that's fine. I'll watch you guys on TV. Yeah, he just doesn't want to do much camp, which I don't blame him.
I don't blame him.
Not at all. You've earned the right to, if you're going to come back and do this, to basically show up for a little bit of team stuff and,
well, it's interesting because the day after Myles Garrett got traded, this kind of started, I felt like, as a joke with people. It's like, oh, God, can you imagine if Aaron Donald was still there and what that could have looked like? And then you saw Aaron Donald dropping videos on Instagram of him working out. And then it was like, oh, well, maybe he's ready to play at this point. And then it kind of feels like ever since Myles Garrett was in the fold that this has turned into a very serious thing. I mean, we talked with Charles the week after, and he was like, yeah, Aaron Donald may play.
Yeah.
So here we are. Looks like he's gonna suit up.
Here we are. So is there anything new on Stephon Diggs, by the way?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. So like I said, Aaron Donald's going to come back. If they sign Diggs, and then everybody's talking about, not that Diggs is, but still, as a third receiver, Diggs is pretty freaking good. We're talking about super team. Somehow they're going to screw it up. It's like someone's going to knock them off, and the super team. They will be a super team.
If Aaron Donald is 75% of what he was, just trying to block those two at the same time with Garrett and Donald, it seems terrifying to me. I don't really know how you do it.
No, it seems ridiculous. I'm trying to think what's the best inside outside combo. Obviously there's been a lot. When the Eagles when they had Jerome Brown, when he was really going, and obviously he died tragically young, but Jerome Brown and Reggie White.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That obviously the Bears. The Bears had McMichael inside, those guys in the fridge, and they had Richard Dent coming off the edge. But it's stuff like that. And think about that particular team. I hate to bring them up. They're random one really good team in the history of the Chicago Bears, but they were unblockable.
Yeah,
an unblockable defense, along with Buddy Ryan doing all the stuff he did. He was kind of ahead of the curve there too. But no, it's unbelievable to think about what they could be there, and then you're supporting an offense that might not need that much help anyway. So I guess they'll just blow everybody out.
Kansas City with some good news heading into this week. Mahomes has been fully cleared to participate in practice. He tore his ACL and LCL in December and is already back on the field, and not just back on the field, fully cleared to practice. So they haven't come out and said this. I think Andy Reid was asked about it over the weekend and about whether or not he's going to play week one. He's basically all he said was pretty optimistic, but no, you're not going to commit to it. But the fact that he tore his ACL in December and he's already fully cleared for practice in late July is that bodes pretty well for him being ready to go.
Yeah, clearly he is an insanely fast healer, right?
Clearly. Apparently a high ankle sprain does nothing to him, and he tears his ACL and is fully ready to go by July.
High ankle sprain is 4 to 6 weeks for most people. For him, it was a stub toe. And now this, it's awfully impressive. So that's great. It's great news for the Chiefs. It's great news for the NFL to have Patrick Mahomes. It's really, an interesting season for him and for them in terms of like, do they have enough? Should they be considered a contender anymore at this point?
I mean, I guess anytime you've got him and you've got Andy Reid, you can be a contender. But I mean, I would answer that question by saying there's probably 3 or 4 teams in the AFC that I would put ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a bit of erosion with them, and some of that is they actually have they've had some drafting issues. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but they just haven't been able to keep things, and they haven't been able to really help him enough specifically on that side of the ball. The defense really has carried them lately, so and that's getting older. That's the thing. So, but Mahomes being available, that's great for them, and gives them a chance to get off to a fast start and be a surprise team, I guess, this year.
Well, they got Snead back, so
yeah, it's true. They do have L'Jarius.
Should be ready to go. Did you see Vrabel show up to training camp with like a dog in his hand?
Yeah, is this going to be the whole all camp? He's going to come out with like so he gets
different
no hard
dog
questions.
every day.
Little puppet. Hey, like the one time he made fun of Glenn and Karski. He called them the Muppet guys. Maybe he can come out with those two guys. Little Muppet things on his hands. Yeah, every day he'll come out with, hey, look at my pet iguana, everybody.
Oh man, just hey, has anything gone on this offseason? Don't worry about it now. I've got a puppy in my hand. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, well done, Vrabel. Well done. Yeah, that whole thing's gonna be. It'll be quiet, and then if and when there's losing,
it will be very loud.
It will be very loud.
Very
It'll
quickly.
all come back.
And then there's Robert Kraft throwing it out there. They've made an offer to Christian Gonzalez that would make him the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. So we'll see what that looks like.
He's definitely a market setter type of player. How about the Kyle Shanahan thing?
Yeah, that's crazy. So he gets in the car accident. And I mean, if you listen to people talk about it, people are lucky that they walked away from it, but he's going to be kind of hit or miss at training camp here, recovering from the injuries that he sustained in the car accident. But pretty wild stuff when you listen to the description of kind of what all went down there and the injuries that were sustained.
Yeah. No, it sounds pretty freaking serious. Another, there's sort of another, storyline, and I'm trying to find. Does Mike Florio? He doesn't post under his name, Mike Florio, right?
Just Pro Football Talk.
Pro Football Talk.
Pro Football Talk. So he brought up an interesting point about that, which is like basically a lot of people knew about this but didn't report on it, which is kind of interesting. I don't know exactly, how that all went down, but I mean it's a fair point by him. Like, this is publicly available information. Granted, if you don't know, then you don't. Like, if you don't know to go check out the publicly available information, then you may miss it. But it sounds like there was some. I'll read this from him. He says the Shanahan accident happened July 14th. The matter of public record. 49ers wanted to keep it quiet until training camp opened. So instead of reporting publicly available facts, the reporters who knew about it complied. So I don't know, which is not what you should do for sure. Also, like, why was it so important for the Niners to keep it quiet? Because to me, that makes it more
fishy.
like, okay, we need to look into this, right? Which people will. So, but yeah, it's a fair point. Florio sometimes makes points that I think are not smart, but that's
a good one.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mike.
Good job, Mike.
Nice job. Or Michael. I think he refers to you as Joseph.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah. Why did he call me Joseph? What were we talking about?
I don't know, but he
just
called
tweeted
you
at me
Joseph.
one time and said, well, Joseph.
So thank you, Michael. Good point.
Yes, good job, Michael.
Good stuff. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the quarterback position in the AFC South. How do we feel about Cam Ward relative to the other quarterbacks in this division? We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. Cory Curtis from News 2 will be along for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock on the program today. The Rob Rant coming up later this hour at 7:45. It is Titans training camp this week. They report tomorrow and get things rolling on Wednesday. Titans player reports to training camp. 102.5 The Game will keep you in the know with player interviews and the latest updates on Titans training camp as the team preps for the 2026 season. Coverage of Titans training camp presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Parman Tractor and Equipment, and Tri-State Water, Power, and Air. And Joe, speaking of the Tennessee Titans, it's an interesting time right now for the quarterback situation in the AFC South, because it wasn't that long ago that we were looking at Trevor Lawrence and saying, yeah, he's the number 1 overall pick. Everybody thought he was going to be some generational player, and he's been okay for Jacksonville. And now, I think you look at what he just did last year, Liam Cohen coming in, the way they ran that offense. I mean, you would tell me you might feel the best about Trevor Lawrence right now in the division than you do anybody else. Meanwhile, it wasn't that long ago where you looked at C.J. Stroud and you're like, well, let's just go ahead and get his gold jacket fitted so he'll be ready to go for the Hall of Fame induction when his career is over. And now there's questions about, what a long-term deal is going to look like. How does he play this year? What does Houston think about kind of his status heading into all this? You have Daniel Jones, who looked really good for like half a season last year before he got hurt in Indianapolis. And then there's Cam Ward, the young guy in all this, heading into year 2 with the Tennessee Titans. So it's an interesting time with the quarterbacks in the AFC South right now. How do you feel about the quarterbacks in the AFC South, Joe Rexrode, and where does Cam Ward kind of stack up when it comes to how you project moving forward here?
Well, I agree with you that Trevor Lawrence, I think you look at last year and with Liam Cohen in the fold, Trevor's second year was still, I guess, his best year statistically with the 4,100 yards, with the 95.2 rating, 25-8 touchdown to interceptions, whereas last year was 29-12, but he hit the 4,000 mark again. 29-12, the rating of 91. Just seemed like it really made a difference to have Liam Cohen in there. So I think you start with him. What does that mean moving forward? Well, if he's going to have roughly that kind of statistical output, and then you get into, what are you doing in the postseason, whatever. But I mean, that's top half of the league quarterback, I think, with Trevor Lawrence, which I think with Trevor Lawrence, the judgment on him, the evaluation of him, has obviously changed in terms of the expectation that he's, quote, the overused word, generational. Now I think I think he's been knocked down a few pegs, but he's pretty good. You feel probably best about him. Stroud, I mean, Stroud, this is a huge year for C.J. Stroud. And for him, statistically, it's just been a steady decline, from, like you said, I mean, 4,100 yards and 100.8 rating last year to down to 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 picks last year. It's funny because his rating still, his career rating still better than Trevor Lawrence's, and 92.9, I think 92.9. He's actually beat Trevor Lawrence's rating for whatever that's worth, last year, but he struggled, and this is a massive year for his future. Daniel Jones, great year was happening before he got hurt. I still have to wonder if he's the long-term answer. I mean, if I had to pick who am I if you rated them by who will be, if you had to guess, these guys are quarterbacks of their teams in 5 years, then I would put Cam Ward 3rd and Daniel Jones 4th on that list. And still, not feel great about Stroud necessarily, but I mean, he's gonna have every opportunity to be their guy.
Yeah. He's going to have every opportunity to be their guy, and we'll see what this year looks like for him. I mean, Daniel Jones, what he playing? 13 games last year, so you're talking, 13 games, threw for 3,100 yards, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's coming off a big injury, and frankly, he's coming off, a big injury coupled with, still in my mind, I think of him as Daniel Jones, New York Giants quarterback that wasn't really all that good. Like, that's what I think of. Maybe that's wrong of me. We'll see. If he comes back this year and just lights it up again, then maybe you have to start looking at it and saying, all right, well, either Shane Steichen's an absolute genius out there, or he got to a different situation, and we see this happen in the NFL nowadays. Sometimes you get to stop two, and for whatever reason, things just tend to work out better for you. So we'll see what the Daniel Jones part of this looks like. I mean, this has been brought up on the YouTube chat. I mean, if you're going just like starters right now, then Cam Ward's fourth. I mean, it's what it is. Like right now, based on where everybody else is in their career, if you had to list them out 1 through 4 and rank the starters, Ward would be fourth. Now, I also, when you start getting into the upside part of it, Trevor Lawrence is turned into a good player. We'll see if there's another level that he can get to. We've seen high levels of football from CJ Stroud. He's still young enough where you feel like that's in him. Daniel Jones, I don't know. I don't know how much upside Daniel Jones has, but that's where the hope from Cam Ward comes from is, all right, as he continues to grow here and he's entering into year 2, you feel like the weapons around him are better. You're going to start to see some of these numbers maybe extend and blow up a little bit. We're going to get into later in the show. Like, he threw 15 touchdowns last year, which it ain't going to get it done in today's NFL at the quarterback position. And there's a ton of reasons for that, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But what's the minimum that you'll be happy with this year? Because I mean, it's not the most important stat, but it is an important stat. Like finishing the ball off in the end zone. Like, you got to find a way to do that more consistently if you're the quarterback. I look at Ward and I say the hope of him turning into a player that's worthy of the number 1 overall pick is where you kind of rest on right now. If you're a Titans fan, like somebody's saying, George says he might be the 5th best quarterback in the league behind Davis Mills.
Now there's some bulletin board material. That might be a stretch, George.
Yeah. Might be a stretch, like what you did there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if you're going 1 through 4, Ward's clearly 4th right now.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Ask this question on a yearly basis. It wasn't that long ago, Joe. We had a conversation about, well, look at the AFC South. You had C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and Trevor Lawrence, and that's going to be the 4 quarterbacks that are just battling it out for a decade. And a year later, that picture changed dramatically.
What a quartet! Yeah, that picture. 2 of those guys are already out of there. And Stroud, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Stroud. Like someone pointing out here, offensive line play again. It is a topic of conversation, and mostly in an unfavorable way in most NFL cities. But there's levels, and the Titans, of course, have been real bad over a stretch here. Texans had struggles there. They've fired offensive coordinators, but I don't know. He does not look like the same player. That's my scientific.
He was horrific
evaluation.
in that playoff game. Just
awful.
It's
lost.
one game, but he was awful.
But it's a game like those are the moments that matter the most. So really interesting and just huge year for him. I still if you force me to put your money on it right now, is he going to be their guy, or are we seeing the beginning of the end, an unraveling? I would have to bet on him. But I would too. But very curious to see how he responds this year.
Yep. And Lawrence, Lawrence, what did he throw for last year? 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 picks. He is really, 3 out of the last 4 years, he's thrown for over 4,000 yards, 20 plus touchdowns. He's turned into a good player. I still don't think he's ever going to be what he was hyped up to be when he was drafted. When Trevor Lawrence was drafted at number 1 overall, it was this guy is a generational type of talent. He was talking about him, people talked about Andrew Luck, and I don't know if he's ever going to be that, but he's turned into a player that you can win with. I mean, they were 13-4 last year. He's a good quarterback. So I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I think Lawrence he's a good enough player where he's going to be the quarterback of Jacksonville for the foreseeable future. But to your point, he might be the only one right now where I look at and I say, yeah, that guy definitely, barring some catastrophic injury, is going to be the quarterback of the Jags 3 years from now. And any of these other guys, I mean, you're hoping Cam Ward is a quarterback for the Titans 3 years from now. Daniel Jones, I'd be surprised if he's the quarterback of the Colts 3 years from now. And Stroud, I don't know. I think so, but if he's bad this year, we've talked about this. Like, what happens if you're the Texans and you just look at your roster and like, yeah, quarterback is holding us back. We got the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
We got good wide receivers. We got all these things going for you, but Stroud's what's holding you back. What do you do at that point if you're Houston?
Right, because again, they're trying to blame everything else. And at some point, it's getting closer to, okay, what is happening with this guy? And yeah, with Trevor Lawrence, I remember when they signed that deal. I remember it wasn't quite like Josh Heupel Day on this show, but it was like, man, are you sure? It's like you probably do it, but are you signing up for just a bunch of mediocrity?
Right.
But he's like, so it's really big that last year he seemed to take a step. And yeah, like I think he's on his way to having a good career. If you don't ever win anything of significance, I guess you could look at the whole thing and say, maybe you should have taken a risk and tried to get someone better, But I mean, there's still something to be said for you're stable and solid at the position. And a lot of teams that take those risks wander in the desert for a long time trying to find anyone that can even get to that level.
So how are you feeling about the quarterback situation in the AFC South and where Cam Ward stacks up in that discussion as we project forward? We'll take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at 1025 The Game for live shows and exclusive content. Taking your thoughts on the Titans at 615-737-1025. How are we feeling about Cam Ward when compared to the other quarterback situations in the AFC South? Taking your thoughts on that. Jared in Spring Hill asking, do we think if Cam Ward was humbled last year, does he have the self-awareness to realize he did get humbled and has to be much better? Talking about in the quarterback documentary, he says the season was all right. Says not to me at all. This from Jared in Spring Hill on the YouTube chat. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to get into the inner workings of Cam Ward's mind. I don't know if he needed to be humbled or if he has been humbled or what that looks like. I mean, I think clearly if you're Ward, you look at last year and you say, well, it didn't go particularly well for our team. And if things are going to get better around here, not only does everything around him have to get better, he has to get better. I think there's got to be at least some level of self-awareness on that front. I think there is.
Yeah. Jared says, and he wears the humble over hype garb. I don't know, is that like a shirt that says humble over hype? And I haven't seen him be humble at all. His demeanor just bothers me. I don't know. I find that strange. You're allowed to be bothered by anybody, but
except us.
What's that?
Except us.
Yeah, we are perfect. But I that just surprises me to hear fans say that his demeanor. I think the demeanor's good. If he was pointing fingers at other people and things like that, and like dodging accountability, then I would get it. But I don't think that's.
He didn't. No, I don't think he did that.
I don't think he did that. I mean, he said we ass, not they ass. I mean, seriously. I mean, he included himself in that, so I don't think that's an issue. I mean, I think he's been humbled. I think he has the right demeanor and approach to be able to take a year like that and use it as fuel and not let it tear his confidence down. I mean, the bigger question is just, can he do the job at a high enough level? I don't think his demeanor is going to be the thing that hurts him.
No, I mean, look, his demeanor and a lot of the intangible things when it comes to playing the quarterback position, I like about him. I mean, there's no doubt he's got some confidence to him.
Yeah, you better. Yeah,
and I like that. Like, I think your quarterback needs some of that. Now, it doesn't need to be crazy confidence. Like, I think that's when you get into trouble and thinking you can make every throw on the earth and you're throwing into triple coverage trying to fit it into a tight window. I mean, you could get in trouble there, but I think to play quarterback at an effective enough level in the NFL, there's almost got to be like a borderline cockiness that you've got there. I mean, and people, I think, display that in different ways, but like, you don't think Tom Brady out there was a little cocky, right? Like Peyton Manning, you don't think? I mean, Peyton Manning wasn't talking a lot of trash. Peyton Manning knew how good he was. Like, I mean, there's a confidence I think you've got to play, or you've got to have to play at a high level at that position in the toughest league in the world.
Like, if you want to really get, with Peyton Manning, who again I think he's the best quarterback I've seen in the NFL when he was at his best. But Peyton Manning was a finger pointer. He really was. Yeah. Now, he earned the right to do that, but he was a finger pointer, man. He'd go over the sideline and rip
yell at Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, or drunk kicker, whatever. But I mean, he would not be. And Brady scream at his coaches. But again, once you get, yes, you have to earn. You have to earn that that power. On a sideline in a locker room to be able to do that. But they weren't exactly. I mean, they did things that some would say, man, that's not what I want from my leader. Well, if you're good enough, you can do that. And then also people are going to respect you enough that they're going to listen to you, and you're probably going to be right. Cam's not there, but I don't think he's overstepped. I mean, I guess you could say, be like, Mike McCoy, what the hell are you doing? But I mean, really, like, who can blame him, right?
It's hard to blame him on that one. Wait a minute. It's 4th and 2. We're terrible, and you don't want to go for it? Cool. You want to punt from the 30? Awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate your contribution, Mike. Yeah, I promise at some point we're going to get through a show without just totally ripping the previous Titans coaching staff.
Yeah, that's how it always comes back to that. I'm going to keep going with Jared here. I don't think he's a student of the game. I feel like those guys learned the game when it took their success. A lot of them be chirpy. You got to earn it. He hasn't, but it acts like it. IMO. Again, where do you get? I don't sit there. I don't We're not there in the building with him. But when someone isn't a student of the game, when someone isn't doing the work, you find out. I mean, we've talked last week some about Vince Young.
Yeah.
There's some doc coming out on Vince Young on how it all went down. I hope it is not something that glosses over the fact that it's on him. It was on him. Like anybody who was around that team can agree he did not do what you need to do. I haven't heard one glimpse of that with Cam Ward. I don't know how you come to I don't think he's a student of the game. It's just I mean, again, none of us are there, but I don't think that's the vibe at all coming from the building.
Well, I don't know how you would even come to that conclusion. I mean, how would you know? Right? I mean, that's how would I know? How would you know? Like, I mean, like you said, everything, I can only go by what people say. I mean, everything people say about the guy is he does everything right. It just comes down to whether or not he's going to be good enough to play the position. I mean, there are tons of guys that go in and out of the NFL playing quarterback that prepare the right
do
way,
everything you're supposed to do,
study all the film, that are great teammates.
Most.
They do all these things, and then when it comes down to it, it's the hardest position in pro sports to play at a high level. And that's why they get compensated the way that they do.
And it's not just what people say. I mean, I think it's, if you listen to him, he knows what's going on. He's trying to figure out everything he can to do the job better. He just, he has to get better. There aren't that many, I don't think, guys in that position in this league. Again, I think Vince Young is a prime example. I think Johnny Manziel is a prime example, who get caught up in other stuff and they don't maximize their own potential. If Cam Ward fails, that's not going to be why. I don't think that's going to be a shred of the story.
No, it's going to be that he can't deliver the football accurately enough on a consistent enough basis. I mean, that's what it's going to be. Right. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, look, I don't blame a Titans fan for looking at Cam Ward last year, even with all the stuff around him that was as broken as it was, from the coaching staff to the roster where you got basically no help on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, there's a lot you can point to from, I guess, if you want to call it an excuse-making standpoint, and say, yeah, this was horrible around him last year. So that's why the record was as bad as it was. That's why Ward's numbers were as bad as they were. Like, you could point to all of that. I also think, independent of that, it's a phrase we come back to a lot on this show, two things being true. He had a lot of stuff going poorly around him last year, and he's got to be way better than he was last year from an individual basis. Yep. And you started to see some of it as the season went on, and he played better and seemed to find his footing a little bit. But he's got to, from the jump this year, I mean, again, you're talking about a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. That is supposed to be a spot that totally elevates your franchise. And he's got to do that. Like, this is when you need to start to see it this year.
Absolutely. A lot of stuff around him that's not his fault that needs to get better, but he could have done more last year in that situation. He could have been better, and he's got to be better this year. Texter saying, how can someone go from a 0-star recruit to the first pick in the draft if they aren't a student of the game? Yeah, I mean, that's not anything that I've actually heard on him at all. And again, from him, pay attention to him. He badly wants to do this. Very few people actually do it at the highest level. Very, very few.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We've talked about one Manning so far on the show. We're going to get into another one coming up next, and why I'm convinced that Arch Manning is going to play extremely well this year. We'll get into that coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. We'll have the Rob Rant coming up here in just a few minutes at 7:45. Cory Curtis at 8 o'clock. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, SEC Media Days last week. Arch Manning was there. And I will say I'm a little struck, not surprised, but struck by the conversation around him heading into this year, because to me it's very different than it was a year ago. I mean, a year ago it was Arch Manning is going to come in and he's going to set a single season passing record at Texas. He's going to win the national championship, win the Heisman Trophy, and then he's walking off into the sunset and he'll be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we've never seen this kid play football before, but cool. Let's see if it plays out that way. And then it became clear, I mean, really in week 1, but certainly by about week 4, that it was just not going well for Arch Manning. He struggled as the year went on. He got better. Texas got better. And now coming back for another year, like personally, I feel like maybe this is the year where he's got a chance to go out there and just totally light it up. Number one, because of the experience he just went through. But number two, I mean, go look at the roster. I mean, he's throwing to Cam Coleman. Like it's going to be I'd be pretty stunned if he doesn't have a really good year offensively. But the conversation around him is a little different. Like, we talked about the quarterback tiers that the Athletic came out with last week. And Manning, he was in the top 10. I want to say he ended up at number 5 or something like that. I have to go back and look at exactly where he was, but maybe 7.
Yeah, he was not top 5.
Yeah, I think he was 7. So people are kind of split on him. Like, they look at the physical tools and they say, I mean, you're talking about 6'4", 230 pounds. Like the athletic profile is good. We've talked about he's definitely more of a runner than Eli and Peyton were, a little bit more athletic than those guys were, like all those things. And then you see some skeptics, and the Athletic has put out a story on this. It's a Power 4 head coach. Quote, "I'm not a huge Arch fan. I think he's just a good player. All the mechanics are clean. I don't know. There's something about guys who win. In high school, he didn't win championships. College, it's only been a year, but he still hasn't. He doesn't win. There's something there where I'm like, man, you have better players and you're not winning. Maybe I'm way wrong, but there's always something there." Talking about the skeptics or a Power 4 coach talking about that. There's another SEC front office staffer that says he was good, but basically a lot of people are saying maybe a little bit too much hype on the Arch Manning front. It's very different in the discussion around him heading into this year. And I understand why there's skepticism, but for some reason, Joe, I can't escape it. I think he's going to go out there this year and just absolutely light it up for Texas.
Yeah, like I think if he does, I think that's a great example. One of resilience for sure, because it was bad last year. Just as poorly as he was playing after all the hype, all the scrutiny around it, it was like, oh my God, this guy can't play at all. You went from, like you said, it was like, oh my God, number 1 pick for sure. Who's going to throw themselves? Who's going to start tanking right now to get Arch number 1 overall? 2, 3 weeks in, oh my God, he can't even play college football. Get him off the field. So I think psychologically he's in a great. There's still a lot of hype, and he's still on the Heisman list and all these things, but he's got an opportunity to actually overperform. He's got an opportunity to actually prove people wrong, which of course athletes love that. And he must have really benefited from all he went through. And I think some people probably wouldn't have been able to handle that as well as he did. You got to give him credit, I think. And certainly he's got great advisors who have been through just about everything. But at the same time, I mean, Peyton and Eli, I mean, basically Peyton gets on the field real early and he just gets better and better. And Eli, went pretty well for him at Ole Miss. I mean, the expectations there were different. It's like if Ole Miss at that time wins 7-8 games, you've done a hell of a job. So neither of his uncles to me went through something like he went through, which again also is their youth was not in the world of fishbowl social media crap that these kids have to deal with now. But the fact that he played the way he did at the end of last year, after all that, I'd be pretty confident in him this year having a big year.
And again, some of that's just what's around him too. Like they're a loaded roster. Like, I mean, frankly, he should have a big year, right? If you're the quarterback of Texas this year with that roster, you should have a big year. Now, he missed way too many throws last year where you're just like, man, that guy's wide open over the middle field. How did you miss that? And, a staffer in this piece that The Athletic talks about his base and his head's not always in the right position. And if he doesn't fix those two things, then he's not going to be good, because those are very important to playing quarterback at a high level. So we'll see. Like, I am sure that he did some work mechanically this offseason and has fixed some of those things. We'll see what that looks like heading into this year. But if he lives up to the hype this year, and Sark kind of went off about this last week at SEC Media Days, like, he wasn't the one that was out there guaranteeing a national championship, and he wasn't the one on social media. And I understand talking all that. I do think the psychological part of it, like coming through the other side of it last year, you should have some confidence heading in this year. Now, having said that, you got Ohio State early in the year, and I know that they've just lost a ton on the defensive side of the ball. I've seen Ohio State reload on defense for 33 years of my life at this point. So my guess is they're probably going to do it again. We'll see what that looks like. I think it very, very important for Arch Manning in that game specifically to come out there and move the ball and play well. You don't even necessarily have to win it, but play pretty well in that game. You can't just be a total dud.
One shootout and Julian Sand hits Jeremiah Smith as you're standing there on the sideline with nothing, you can't do anything about it. That's one thing, but I mean, the haters will come out of the woodwork quickly.
Oh yeah.
If anything goes wrong at all this year. But I think that the interesting thing is I feel like some people I've still heard some, he's going to be the number one pick, right? Whereas like this QB tiers thing, I think that's more of an accurate representation. Like there's people just aren't sure up and down. There's different opinions about him, which I get. He's not a sure thing. I think he's a pretty safe bet to be a first round pick in the next draft. I'd be kind of surprised if he wasn't. And he's not Cade Klubnik or Lenora Sellers, but let's remember those guys were supposed to be that a year ago. And I think it was a year before that. Carson Beck was supposed to be that.
Yep.
Right. And so now Arch has some physical tools that are pretty special. But like you said, the accuracy thing is a little bit of a funky release. Does that ever get to the point where it's pinpoint? I don't know. I mean, this is a big year for that.
He is the betting favorite to be the number one overall pick. He was, I believe, last year too, heading into the draft.
Yeah.
So, or heading into the season.
And again, last year, basically, the whole family was screaming to everybody who'd listen, like he's not coming out.
Yeah.
But people figured, but he's going to have this unbelievable year, and then you're not going to be able to resist. Well, obviously that didn't happen. So, and he makes sense. He makes sense as the betting favorite. For one thing, he's the most recognizable player, so people are going to bet on that. But I think I might bet the other way on him being the number one overall pick. I think he's a first-round pick. And which is okay. That's still pretty good.
There are 4 of the top 5 bets to be the number one overall pick of quarterbacks.
Yeah. So it's Dante Moore.
Yep.
And it's him. And people who are eluding.
CJ Carr.
Right.
Drew Mestamaker. And then there's Jeremiah Smith thrown in there.
The Mestamaker is really interesting. The Mestamaker thing is really interesting. Like basically didn't play high school. Like he wasn't a starter. I believe that's right. In high school, North Texas, lights it up. But he's at Oklahoma State this year. And first of all, like, what kind of a team is around him?
Don't know.
I mean, that looks like one that, like, once we actually start watching football, things could change pretty dramatically on that front.
Yeah, and right now, if you're the number one overall pick, like your favorite to be the number one overall pick, I mean, you're probably looking at Miami and Arizona, and you're like, yeah, maybe one of those two places. That'll be fun. We're going to talk about Arizona here in just a few minutes, but could be a lot of fun out there.
Every year, though, right? If you're you're probably looking at a Jets, a Browns, a Titans. At least you get to come to Nashville.
I mean, we have seen a Manning before say, hey, I'm not going where you want me to go. I'm not going to San Diego. I'm going to the Giants. Thank you. Though. Appreciate
That's right. I thought you were going to say we've seen a Manning before flirt with the Titans. You've also seen that.
We did for about half a day.
Keith says the real question is, does Arch have the personality like his uncles, or will be on every commercial and hosting SNL? I don't know. Like, let's see. Let's let him play some football first. You know, he'll probably have those opportunities. You've also got Peyton's kids here coming up. So
yeah, Mannings aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Marshall, where's Marshall going?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Are you going to be pissed if he doesn't go to Tennessee?
I do not expect him to go to Tennessee.
What's his list right now?
I don't know. I think going to the place where your dad went and was a legend, I don't think that's going to happen. I know Eli did it. I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, the only thing with that is obviously he's grown up his entire life rooting for the Vols, right? So I mean, that might still outweigh it. And he's like, this is what I love. I love the Vols.
The other thing is, like, right now he's listed at 5'9", $150. There's going to have to be some growing that takes place there with Manning's kid. I mean, he's not till the class of 2030, so he's got a minute. But 5'9", $150.
I didn't realize either of those
he's like
things.
14.
I thought he was like 29. Okay, he's a 30.
Yeah. He's got a minute.
9. Yeah, let's let him, go through puberty. Yeah, see what happens there.
615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Rob Rant coming up next. Cory Curtis at 8 o'clock. All that ahead. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Don't make me angry.
Sometimes you have to tell someone to pound sand.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
This is the Rob Rant. Now on Robby and Rexrode.
I like Creed. I like Nickelback.
Is Big Ben a choker or is he not a choker? Choker. I don't like this media, guy. Just bring your cameras on down.
When I said analyze, I said anal eyes?
Yeah.
And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was pretty good. I booed the Beatles.
Shoot it in my butt. I don't care.
Well, I had to turn away to avoid your spewing things out of your mouth.
Oh, looks like Bishop Sankey fumbled again. At Bishop Sankey fumbled. You suck. Your thoughts?
It is time for the Rob Rant, served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville. It's good to have Ian back on the program. We missed that last week.
Analyze?
You did say that, by the way.
Great.
Check
I
the
had
tape.
forgotten that.
I checked the tape.
Check the tape. Tape doesn't lie.
So many
Just
things.
like you were the one to just absolutely get after Josh Heupel. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, but I didn't say anything when Josh Heupel got hired.
You were like, oh, I'm going to keep an open mind on this. I have no opinion. I have no negative things to say.
None whatsoever. So I want to talk today about Trey McBride, the tight end of the Arizona Cardinals, who finds himself in hot water with the dozens of Cardinals fans that are out there in Glendale. So Trey McBride was on with Bussin' with the Boys in June.
Oh, boy. I'll
Yeah,
get you in
which will
trouble.
Get you into trouble. And one of the things he said while on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast in June, quote, living in Arizona, no one's from Arizona. Everyone has kind of moved in from another state, so they're all fans of their own teams. So now you have the Arizona that sits there, and there's no Arizona fans in Arizona. It's a tough deal. Hopefully we start winning some games, and we can bring some of those fans back. So, I mean, the quote that grabbed everybody's attention there was, yeah, there's no Arizona fans in Arizona. Well, that got him into hot water with the fan base, and he was asked about that the other day after, I believe, Saturday's training camp practice. And Trey McBride said this, quote, I probably shouldn't have said that. It came out wrong. And obviously the fan base is great. We have a tremendous fan base. Arizona's been here, loyal to all the sports teams here, blah, 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 blah. Well, don't tell me, obviously the fan base is great. You sat there and said it didn't exist. So it may be great, but it's certainly not obvious based on what you said. You know, every now and then, Joe, I would like, because I know, you know, PR guys have gotten a hold of him and, you know, he's trying to walk stuff back. Every now and then I just like somebody to stand up there and say, yeah, you know, I said what I said. I don't really have any more thoughts on it. You know, you don't have to always apologize for everything. You certainly don't have to say, obviously the fan base is great when you just got done saying a few weeks ago it doesn't exist. So don't tell me it's great or obviously it's great when you're talking about how there are no Cardinals fans in Arizona. Trey McBride, stand on your business, son.
I agree. Obviously, I've been told that I must say that the fan base is great. So obviously I'm going to say that. And the quote isn't even, I mean, first of all, I mean, it's probably factually incorrect. Like, I do think some people were like born in Arizona, I think. Like, some, you know, like there's probably like families who have generations there, you know?
There are probably some season ticket holders of Cardinals game or for at the Cardinals games that have been there for a long time. Maybe even moved stadiums.
So, yeah. But I get what he's saying, right? I mean, we talk about it here sometimes, you know, in terms of like there's fans of a lot of different teams. Like when people show up at Titans games and they're low, some of it is people traveling, some of it is people live here from California, from Massachusetts, from the Midwest, blah, blah, blah. But also, like, he ended that quote, he's like, hopefully we start winning some games. We can bring some of those fans back. Okay, so you put that quote, put it on you to your responsibility to bring the fans up because obviously the problem here is that you suck. Yeah, obviously the fans don't show up because you're bad. Yes. That's all it is. But I'm with you. Like, what you don't
obviously the fan base is great. Really? Okay.
I mean, it's not obvious, but I know they're out there. I'm sure of it.
There's no Arizona fans in the entire state, but obviously the fan base is great. It's like, come on, man.
We have a tremendous fan base.
Sometimes I think you dig yourself in a little bit of a deeper hole by just trying to apologize.
Just comes off totally.
It just comes off totally disingenuous.
I'm just gonna say these words that I'm supposed to
say. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I think I like you less after that than I did if you just said, "Yeah, there's no Arizona." Like Trey McBride's a good enough player. Or like if I'm a Cardinals fan and I hear that, I'd be like, "Yeah, we probably do need to get our fan base to show up to some freaking games a little bit more often."
But also, you guys need to, But like he said, you guys need to win some games. I mean, like look at the rest of the quotes. Like, okay. So obviously the fan base is great. We have a tremendous fan base. Arizona's been here, loyal fans, all their sports teams, and we're very lucky to have a lot of these guys. And it's like, okay, man. Yeah, if you're a Cardinals fan, do you watch that quote and be like, oh, okay, I feel better about things?
Yeah, he really loves it here. Yeah.
Damage undone.
Yeah.
I totally believe you, man.
Yeah, and sometimes it's okay just to say, I said what I said. I don't have any other further thoughts on it.
If he didn't say the thing about hopefully we start winning some games, then the apology is it's on us.
Yeah,
we need to make the fans show up. That's it. But he did. So the apology is actually here. Let me just talk about a reality that actually doesn't exist, but I guess is obvious to everybody.
Good news is I'm sure they've got the team this year to get people back in the stands there in Arizona. Get to watch Trey McBride catch passes from newly reworked contract Jacoby Brissett.
But I couldn't believe how much they signed him for.
And Jeremiah Love will get the ball probably 500 times in his rookie year. So that'll be fun.
I mean, at least I will. I do want to watch Jeremiah Love. Like if I'm a Cardinals fan, say what you will about running backs. When they're early in their careers and they might be great, people will show up to watch that.
Yeah.
Jared says McBride is describing Tennessee to a power T. Tennessee Titans?
Well, I would assume the Titans and not the Vols because the Vols were bad.
You can't say much about their fan base.
They'll show up.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little too much.
Yes.
There is some transplant, kind of crossover.
Sure.
With the Titans. Not as probably as much as Arizona, but a little bit here and there. Transplant city.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the Titans, I think with the Preds we talked about before, like there's some people from other areas where it's like the Preds are like the second favorite team kind of thing, and sometimes they become your first favorite team over time.
Well, and look, the Titans have gone through stretches here where you look up in the stands, you're like, not a whole lot of people in this building today, huh? And but they've also gone through some times when you're winning games and the place is fun. I mean, John Robinson was in tears after the playoff loss at the NFL Combine about how awesome the environment was at Nissan Stadium, and they just totally let him down.
And it was an amazing atmosphere that day. And then came the first play from scrimmage.
Oops.
Oh boy, is it going to be that kind of day?
I can still see in my mind the video of J-Rob just crying at the NFL Combine, saying that place was rocking now.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for a lot of people gave him a lot of crap for that.
I think that's when he knew he was done.
I think Big Joe actually. I think it was Big Joe who thought it was like. No, you know what? It was D-Mac. Sorry, Big Joe. He was like, it's performative, basically. Like he made himself. I'm like, I promise you, man.
Pretty good talent.
I was sitting right there. Like he first of all, he's an emotional dude. Those were real tears. And actually, like when you look back on it, he kind of knew something, didn't he?
He knew that he was in deep trouble.
Well, he may have known that he knew
AJ Brown's getting ready to get traded. Yeah.
I mean, Dan Campbell, when the Lions lost that game to the Niners, he said at the game, like, we may never get back again. He's right. They won't. And seriously. And J-Rob had that exact same feeling at that time. Like, we had the number 1 seed win 2 home games to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you want to talk about DNA in a franchise, I remember talking to some Titans, like employees before that game, the nervousness. Of course, you're nervous for a play, but it was almost like this sense that, like, is this just going to be like those 2 Baltimore games all over again? And in a different way, it was.
So you think?
Sorry to bring it up. Sorry to like make your rant such a downer at the end.
That's okay. You think the dozens of Cardinals fans that will be in attendance come the fall will be booing Trey McBride?
That's a good question.
Fan base
will he hear a boo?
I don't know.
Isn't he like their best player though?
Oh yeah.
By far.
That's risky.
Yeah.
You're gonna bolt.
I mean, that's the thing.
Your best player.
Well, right. And
You're
that's,
down to Jeremiah Love, huh?
so if anybody's going to say something like this, he'd be the guy to be able to do it and get away with it, right? Are they going to introduce defensive players that nobody knows so there's no booze?
Just gets on the microphone. Welcome in. Great fan base here in Arizona. It's good to be here today with you guys.
You guys are amazing.
Let's keep that damage control going. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Cory Curtis from News 2 will be with us coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Monday morning. It's training camp week here for the Tennessee Titans. And to help us talk more about that, we head to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Welcome in Cory Curtis to the program from News 2. Cory, good morning. How are you?
I'm a delight. Robbie, how are you today?
Outstanding. We have made it to training camp, which means, Cory, I'll be excited about that for about 3 days. And then I'll say, all right, let's get to the football games around here. I do want to get your thoughts on this because I've seen some Titans fans that are mad about this. So PFF did this tight end ranking, tight ends 1 through 32, and Gunnar Helm is not on the list. Your boy Colston Loveland's number 5 on the list. But what do you make of Gunnar Helm not being 1 through 32 on the list of best tight ends according to PFF? Does he have some bulletin board material heading into all this?
Well, I mean, look, if you need bulletin board material, then I'm sorry. But, I mean, look, these teams won 6 games in 2 years. Jeffrey Simmons just got ranked number 83, all right? If Jeffrey Simmons is number 83, then Gunnar Helm is number, 50 on the tight ends, okay? So, you're going to get disrespected when you win 6 games in 2 years. And, he's got a lot to prove still. I mean, I think Gunnar Helm had a fine rookie season, but was he Tyler Warren or Colston Loveland or Brock Bowers?
No,
he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He's got a nice catch radius. He's got some craft to his route running because he's a former receiver. I don't know if he's got elite athleticism like some of these guys. So I think he's got a lower ceiling than some of them do. I know there are some people who are big Gunnar Helm fans, and I don't hate Gunnar Helm. I'm not dissing on Gunnar Helm. I'm just, we've seen young tight ends come in and be difference makers, and I don't think he was that last year.
Are you moonlighting and doing tight end rankings for Pro Football Focus? Have we discovered something here?
No. Okay, well, let me ask this. I have not seen the whole list. We did discuss this some last night, but I haven't seen the whole list. What guys on there would you put him ahead of?
Well, Chig's on there. I mean,
okay, I put Chig ahead of him.
Okay. I haven't seen the whole list.
Well, I mean, there's,
if I knew Cory wrote it,
there are guys on the list that I think used to be good that are still on there. Like, Cole Kmet is on there at number 31. I think, okay.
Cole Kmet's better than he is.
Cole Kmet probably used to be better than he is. I don't know that he is now. Evan Ingram is on there.
Not that old. Cole Kmet's been in the league 5-6 years.
I know. What'd he do last year?
Yeah, well, he's number 2. He's number 2. That's why.
He's fading.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, part of this list is the projection.
Let me ask you right now. If you could have Colston Loveland, not Colston, if you could have Cole Kmet or Gunnar Helm, which one do you want?
Right now?
Yeah,
I'll take the guy who actually might be getting better over the next few years.
Okay. Well, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay, that's fine.
So we have you officially down as a hater of Gunnar Helm. So beyond that, all right, that's fine. Everybody's got haters, like you said, these guys shouldn't need the bulletin board, but yet they always are also desperate to find it, right? There's gotta be a hater. There's gotta be a chip on the shoulder, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So this week, Cory, not all of camp, but just this week, what are you most interested to find out? What's the most interesting information that we can get out of this week with the Titans in these first few days?
Well, there's not a lot of pads, and so there's not a lot we can find out about the offensive line other than who's running with the ones. But I guess for me, I really want to see Carnell Tate, and I want to see him build off of the spring that he had. I want to see him continue to look like that guy. I want to see him, look like a guy who looks like he's, ahead above everyone else in the talent category at that position.
What do you make of how the cornerback room shapes up, and really the starting cornerback room? So you've got Taylor coming in, you've got Flott coming in. I would assume Marcus Harris is going to be there. So how do you feel about that trio based on the way in Flott and Taylor's case that they played at a starting level in the NFL before, adding to that room, and then you've got Harris coming in year 2 here with the Titans?
Well, I like Alante. I like, he's a physical player. He's got speed. He's got a lot of snaps under him, and I've seen him play. I'm going to be honest. I haven't paid a lot of attention when Cordell Flott was with the Giants, watching a lot of Cordell Flott tape. All right, and then I didn't see him at all this spring, so I haven't seen a lot of him. We've seen them invest in this spot before, and it didn't work out. And so, you can't take anything for granted that, hey, this is going to be the be all end all. And, you're counting on, what was Marcus Harris, a 6th round pick last year, or 7th?
What was he?
I thought he was a 5th, but I could be wrong.
No,
he was
7.
Was
he a 7th?
I believe he was. Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's some value.
6. There we go. 6th round pick. We officially have the 6th round.
I mean, shoot, Cortland Finnegan was a 7th. So, you can be a late draft pick and be a good player. It's allowed. But I just, I got to see it all work. Now, we all know that the best friend of cornerback is a pass rush. And, Simmons and Franklin Myers and, Martin and Johnson can get heat on the quarterback. It'll make those guys better players. I guess to say it nicely, it can't go worse than a Awuzie and Snead went.
That's a good point.
By the way, did you know, Corey, that Dan Moore also was not ranked among the top 32 tackles by
You'll
PFF?
be stunned to know.
Your thoughts on this?
Well, I think wasn't he ranked like second to last or something?
What, among left tackles?
Yeah.
What, is that right? Was it that bad?
I think last year he was. Yes.
My goodness.
Yeah. Well, but he was still infinitely better than Dennis Daly and Andre Dillard.
It's true.
And Nicholas Petit-Frere. To tell you how bad those guys were, he was infinitely better than those guys.
Can you remember, we were talking earlier about, Corey, like offensive line play is a league-wide, it's not great league-wide, and I'd say I bet you 25 to 27 fan bases think their offensive line sucks, right? Like it's just especially the first month of the season so bad. But I mean, this is an incredible run the Titans are on. Like, can you think of examples prior to this of teams going this long being this problematic up front?
Well, the Giants have been very bad on the offensive line for a long time. The Bengals, I remember watching Joe Burrow get just destroyed on their way to the Super Bowl. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl despite having a horrifically bad offensive line. The Bears a few years ago, offensive line was an absolute sieve. But I mean, look, since Mike Munchak left, and then when they got Lewan and Ben Jones and Roger Saffold and Conklin, but what do all those guys have in common? Lewan's a 1st round pick, Conklin's a 1st round pick.
Yep.
Saffold was a 2nd round pick. Ben Jones was an established veteran, and they invested heavily in that spot. Now we saw them invest heavily. They missed
over and over again.
Yeah, but missed badly, and so that goes to that. Since, and I'm not blaming the whole thing on John Robinson because he's been gone for a while, but since he drafted Jack Conklin, they have not added much to that room that's been very good.
They certainly have not. And as we've discussed with you, Corey, it's a massive year for J.C. Latham, and he enters into camp on PUP. So, I mean, look, he may be on PUP for 3 days and come into camp, and it ends up not being that big a deal. I don't know. I do know it's not a great look from if you're a Titans fan looking at this saying, okay, critical year for J.C. Latham, and we're starting on PUP heading into camp. How concerning is that to you?
Well, it's not a great start because I don't know what the injury is. I mean, this is, the coaches always think that they're protecting players by not revealing what their injuries are. Maybe they are, but all it does is lead to knuckleheads like me and you and Joe speculating on what's wrong with the guy. Wondering how hurt he is, wondering when he's going to be back, wondering if he's going to have a terrible year now because of this. Is it a reoccurrence of the hip issue? I don't know. Does he have a hangnail on his pinky toe? I don't know. And so I don't know how big of a deal, that it is, but it is a big year for him. Year 3 was the year that we saw Peter take his big leap, to being a really good player. And look, this guy's a top 10 draft pick. He can't be an okay right tackle. He's got to be a really good one.
Yep.
And if he's not good with the questions they've got at center and right guard, it really amplifies that. And it's, your whole line's a disaster at that point.
I agree. Although I would actually argue that even okay, like they would take it. Yeah,
Well,
like it's
yeah,
disappointing
but,
relative to the draft position, but like they just need to not be desperate at both spots, right? Like,
well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'd like for him to be serviceable, but what was he, the 7th pick of the draft?
He was.
Yeah, you need him to be a monster out there. I mean, and especially, if you're not going to invest in the guy next to him, he needs to be a dominant player. And, can he do that? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I will say, playing on the outside like that with a bad hip doesn't sound like the best thing for him last year. So we'll see if he's healthy this year, how much better he can be.
Corey, I'm going to try not to ride the training camp wave, as I like to call it, because everybody's going to hyper-focus in on Cam Ward here over the next few weeks. And I get it. He's the quarterback. So, I mean, I understand all that. I do think sometimes we make way too much out of training camp practices.
And we will again.
And how things go on that front. Having said all that, how are you feeling about Ward heading into year 2 here with what seems to be a much better complement of skill position players around him? We'll see how the line holds up. How are you feeling about Cam Ward heading into camp?
I guess I feel the way I felt about him, before. He's a hard worker who wants to be great. He's going to put in the time to do it, and we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. I mean, we just are, and it would help if the team was good around him. That would certainly help as well. And we saw last year. I will continue to go back to it. After Brian Callahan got fired, the Titans went from giving up 4.5 sacks a game to 2 sacks a game. Okay. The players stayed the same. Okay. Cam Ward went from like 4 touchdown passes or whatever it was to like 2 touchdown passes a game for 4 consecutive games. So I've seen the team elevate. I've seen Cam elevate when they've got a better game plan and better performance around him. Now as a number 1 pick in the draft, he's going to have to be a guy who gets to be so good that he helps elevate the people around him. But before he gets there, he's just got to be good. And so that's what we need to see.
Cory Curtis, every Monday morning at 8 o'clock here on the program. Corey, we've made it to football season. Congratulations. Way to go.
We did.
Ish.
This is number 23, 24 for me?
Yeah. You're an old wily veteran at this point,
Yeah.
I'd be lucky to make it through this one.
A wily veteran in 2010.
Jeez.
I'm just saying. There's nothing wrong with being a wily veteran.
Sorry, I'm going to go get my walker and
Corey, thank you, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Good luck, fellas.
Cory Curtis from News 2, our guest here on the program. We'll react to what Corey had to say. And I want to throw this out there for Titan fans. Cam Ward threw 15 touchdowns last year. What is the minimum number that you'll be happy with this year? We'll get into that coming up next. Robby Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping, outdoor patios, landscaping design, lawn maintenance, and more. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, and Safar here with you on this Monday morning. So Cam Ward last year in a very trying rookie season for him and the Titans, 15 touchdown passes a year ago. As Cory mentioned in the last segment, I mean, forever he had like 4, and it was like, oh, okay, the Titans ever going to score a touchdown again? He ended up with 15 to close out the year. So my question is, as I said earlier in the show, Joe, I fully realize that the type of year that a quarterback has, there are more important numbers than touchdown passes at the end of the day. But just for reference, I mean, Matthew Stafford won the MVP last year. He threw for 46 touchdown passes. So in 46, way up here, 15, way down here. There's quite a gap in between those two numbers. If you look around the league, there weren't really a whole lot of high number touchdown passes last year, which is kind of interesting. Like Stafford had 46. Goff was the next closest at 34. It doesn't typically play out that way, but kind of a weird year last year. So my question for you is this, and I posed this to Titans fans as well, and we've already had some people texting in. What is the minimum number of touchdown passes from Cam Ward this year, assuming health in a 17-game season, that you would be okay with if you were a Titans fan out there? Joe, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm looking at that list. So you had 19 guys who were 20 or more last year. That includes Brock Purdy at 20. He only played 9 games.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So to me, you need to be in the 20s. There were only 4 guys who were 30s or above last year. You know, Dak and Drake were right there behind Goff. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence at 29. Darnold sitting there at 25, an incredible year that he had. You want to be in the 20s to me. And also to me, it like if you're at 20, but with like 14 picks or 25 with 14 picks, I mean, I'll take 20 with 8 picks, you know. Obviously there's yards per attempt is a very important, there's overall QB rating is important, completion percentage. You certainly want that to go up. But I like the touchdown stat. Just I think generally quarterbacks with high numbers probably play for good teams.
Yep.
Probably you're playing in the playoffs, and generally a lot of the low numbers are bad QBs or part-time QBs, bad teams. So put them in the 20s. If you can get into the 20s and keep those picks under double figures, that should be a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, I mean the picks last year for Ward were not really an issue. I mean, he threw 7 of them, which for a rookie quarterback I was happy with. Now the fumbles, I think, got to get a little bit better, got to hold on the ball
Getting
a little bit more, getting sacked. Like, there's definitely things he's got to work on that front. But in terms of just purely interceptions, I thought he did a pretty good job of taking care of the football last year. So that was good to see. Listen, people are all over the map with this. I mean, one texter said 16. So just give me one more than we got a year ago and I'll be happy. As other people are saying, 30. Like 30, I think, is a pretty high bar. I mean, you're doubling your touchdown total there. And again, you're talking about last year, a league that 4 guys in the league had 30 or more touchdown passes. Now it goes in waves. Like, I mean, I'll just pull up a random year. So let's do 2023. So 2023, you had 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 guys still. So apparently 30 is the mark to get to. If you can get to 30 touchdown passes, you're going to be in today's NFL up there with the elite quarterbacks in this league. I'd be happy if he got to like 22. Like if you get to 22 touchdown passes, and hopefully that would mean, other places along the way, he'd be running in a couple, Pollard's running in a few, maybe you're doing a reverse jet sweep to Chim DK that actually gets more than 3 yards this year. That'd be nice to see. But like, I don't need anything crazy. Like I don't need him to get to 35, but if you could get to 22, 23, I think you'd start to, be trending in the right direction on that front.
So now I've started to look at other things. And, another thing you want is to not be vying for that league lead that he shared with Geno. So we got Geno and Cam combined 110 sacks, 55 apiece.
Yep.
He's starting that right out this year.
Well, there was a time he was on pace for and it was like more
David
than halfway through
Carr.
the season.
Yeah.
He was on pace for like 75 sacks.
Yeah. So they cut it down. And that's a stat too, where for the most part, you're probably talking about bad teams. Although Justin Herbert, 54, boy, you kind of almost have to tip your cap to him considering that last year. Drake May was sitting there at 47 sacks and still had an MVP season or MVP-ish season. But then you got Jacoby.
Yeah. Big money Jacoby. Getting sacked 43 times.
Sacks. I mean, it's an offensive line number, but it can also be a I think Cam Ward, certainly. Cam Ward was responsible for some of those, or he made some situations worse. And sometimes the way he plays is probably he's going to run himself into some sacks sometimes with some of the stuff he likes to do.
Yes.
But obviously you want that to go. If you take about 10 of those sacks and make them touchdown passes, you're on your way.
Dennis
doing
is
better.
Right now, I'm not sold on Ward, but you guys earlier were talking about Trevor Lawrence. I hope the Titans give Cam Ward the time to get better like Trevor Lawrence has had.
And I wrote back, well, if he throws for 4,100, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks, and wins a playoff game this year,
he'll get
like Trevor did, and we will be talking about Cam Ward for a few years. Now, I say that, and Marcus Mariota had a great second year, and he still was edged out by year 5. I mean, they picked up his option. They didn't give him the second deal. So it can still go somewhat quicker.
It can.
But if you have a year like that, a great second year, I mean, I think you've bought yourself some time. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, look, if he got what did he throw for last year? 3,100 yards, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, if he got 22 touchdown passes and 3,800 yards this year, and the Titans went 7-10, people around here are going to be excited as all get out about it, right? And that's not a high bar in the NFL, but that's how bad it's been. So, if he gets to 22 touchdowns, 3,800 yards, 7 picks, and the Titans win 7 games, I mean, people are going to be going gaga around here over Cam Ward. So, I don't think the bar is that high for him to remain in pretty strong favor with the majority of the Titans fan base this year, but you got to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. Another stat, obviously, like I said earlier, like YPA, yards per attempt, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, Jameis Winston was second in the league last year.
Of course he was.
8.6 in his 3 games of play. But Drake May, 8.9 to lead the league. Then you get Darnold at 8.5, Lamar Jackson at 8.4. You got Josh Allen at 8, Goff 7.9, Stafford 7.9. You also sneak in Daniel Jones with an 8.1. That is generally a pretty strong, statistical parallel with team success. You don't see a lot of guys with a good number there. And Cam Ward, 34th in the league at 5.9. So can Cam Ward get his YPA to around 7? That would speak to, along with some of these other things, that would definitely speak to significant improvement.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, the top guys are about 8-9. I mean, it goes back to like Tannehill when he was
9.6,
and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Tannehill 9.6 with his completion percentage was, the first one since Joe Montana, the great Joe Montana in 1989.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Training camp this week for the Tennessee Titans. What are the non-Cam Ward storylines that you're most looking forward to heading into camp? We'll take your thoughts on that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. One texter says, I feel like with this season, I'm going into it optimistically with what the Titans have done. However, as a Titans fan, I'm also fully ready for everything to blow up, and we have another 3-win season, but at least it appears Amy wants to win and is putting in the effort to try.
I mean, I think Amy has wanted to win and has won and has just made bad choices.
Yeah.
Right. And overreaction based choices.
One texter says the Cam going to be running for his life this year. The O-line did not get enough attention this year.
Yeah.
That is the fear.
That is the fear. And of course, that's the fear that potentially muddles the evaluation of him too. I mean, I can envision a lot of screaming back and forth on, well, you can't blame him. Look at the old line. But, can you not evaluate a quarterback at all, even if he has? Corey was talking earlier about Joe Burrow. There's an example of a quarterback overcoming that. Dennis says, a texter earlier said they didn't like Cam's demeanor. I'm not a Cam do. Wait, Cam. Yeah, I'm not a Cam do. But I haven't seen anything demeanor-wise I didn't like. But if he doesn't have a great second year, how patient will they be with him? It seems like teams bail on QBs quick in this league now. So, Dennis,
well, how bad
is a confirmed Cambivalent. Not a what are you doing? Not a Cam do. That's fine. I think most people are Cambivalents. Yeah, I think the Titans will be very patient with him because
there's a lot riding on it.
Remember, the whole Marcus thing, which still was. He had a great second year. They won a playoff game his third year, but his performance went down. He had an injury just packed fourth year with Vrabel's debut, and then a few games into his fifth year, he was done. That's still like going into your fifth year, right? Well, that GM didn't pick Marcus. This GM did pick Marcus.
Yep.
Or did pick Cam. And so I think the patience level will be extremely high. It's really interesting because the trend has been teams giving up so quickly, but now that the trend continues to grow with quarterbacks finding their footing and their second stops, I wonder if patience starts to grow too. I would bet that this place, and I could be wrong because we don't know if the owner's going to be patient with the people who made the decision. Like if it's a terrible year this year, we're going to be sitting there talking about, is someone going to be, zapped now? But I think that this front office, if they're allowed to continue to do their jobs, I think they'll be extremely patient with them.
I would agree. However, this is also the same league where J.J. McCarthy was taken number 10 by Minnesota in 2024, was out his entire rookie year because of injury, played what did he play last year? 10 games maybe. And now he's basically out in Minnesota. Charles has been on with us every week saying, the Kyler Murray, J.J. McCarthy competition in Minnesota is not a competition. Kyler Murray is going to be the starting quarterback.
It's funny that you're saying this right now because Dan Graziano on ESPN is saying it is an overreaction to say that Kyler Murray. There's some question about it, but regardless, your point is well taken on him. People are ready to just give up on him, and it's like snap your fingers.
He's 23 years old, and he's played. What did he play last year? Did he play more than 10 games? He played, let's see here, 10 games on the dot last year.
And people,
so he's 10 games into his NFL career, and people are like, "Yep, all right, see ya."
Yeah, and sometimes when people react that quickly to a quarterback, and they're right, like with Josh Rosen.
Yeah,
okay, it just was a terrible pick. It's crazy how that can happen, but it can happen. So maybe he's one of those. I think for the most part, there's going to be some more patience around the league with some guys or a lot of guys. I think Cam Ward should be one of them. But yeah, Will Levis also had a quick stint. It was also a second round pick. I pick one, in the draft, man.
It's hard to give up on that.
You got to see that through. Because if you're Mike Borgonzi and it's real bad this year and it's starting to look that way, well then aren't you just about to be bounced yourself?
Probably.
We don't know all the other things. We don't know maybe
around here.
Yeah, maybe Oladejo's awesome, and then also Falk is, and it's like, man, look at all the other good things. But I mean, this is your tenure here hinges on Cam Ward.
Dennis says the player I'm most interested in during camp outside of Ward, Oladejo, hopefully fully recovered, second year, solid, could help him progress, needs to step up. We talked about that earlier, like the edge rusher group here. Throw Oladejo in there. Like those two incredibly important, not just for the now, but for the long term. Because think about this scenario, and I think we're probably too early on the Falk stuff, even after 1 year. But think if they're like heading into the offseason next year, and it's like, well, you guys definitely need a left tackle. Latham didn't work out, so you're going to need a right tackle. And Oladejo is a complete bust, so you're going to need another edge rusher to go along with it. I mean, that's not a good spot to be in if you're the Titans.
No. You can this is the time of year to talk yourself into optimistic outcomes.
Yep.
And I think we can do that, but you
Sure.
can also it is not hard with this group to flip it around to a complete just
Disaster.
Yeah. Just another, just complete, you can't have another 2 or 3 win season here. Right. Like you gotta show some movement in a positive direction.
Not only you can't, like you shouldn't have another 3-win year.
No.
Like this should be a team, not that is some playoff team, but this should be a team with the investment level you got in quarterback. With the investment level you got in quarterback and wide receiver alone, you should be able to get to 5 wins this year, right? Like you ought to be moving up in the right direction in a league that is designed for you to get to the middle of the pack. And if you can't do that for the 3rd year in a row, I'm sorry. That's gross incompetence. I think, barring some crazy run of injury this year, that's gross incompetence if you can't do that.
Yeah, you're starting to really raise your hand and be like, we are the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
We're one of those franchises. We're just one of the bad franchises. And that's really not the history of this franchise. You've had dips. You've had ups and downs. You have not won the ultimate prize, but you haven't. I mean, even the Oilers, the old Oilers of post Bum Phillips, early 80s, they had some real, real bad teams. But they drafted offensive linemen all-time greats in a couple cases to totally rebuild their team. And before long, they were a really good team for quite a stretch there. And, this is the cycle down in the history of this franchise typically are ending by now. So this would be the year that you start to end that.
Yeah, they don't bottom out forever. Since they've been the Titans, they were bad in 2004 and 2005. They were 5-11 and 4-12.
Yeah, so that was the cap purge of all those great teams and, the painful reality of the cycle.
And then they got back into the thick of it. And, from 2005 to when 2008 came around, you're 13-3. You're the 1 seed. You snap out of it. 2014 and 2015, they were awful.
Yep.
They were 2-14 and 3-13. It was completely horrific to watch.
And then luckily they had Marcus, who dragged them out of the
And then the next year they were 9-7, and they were 9-7 4 years in a row after that. And then they ended up, getting to be the number 1 seed in the AFC in 2021. Well, this is 2 years in a row of 3-14. If it stretches to a 3rd year of that crap, I mean, you're talking about unprecedented territory from when you've moved to Nashville, at least.
It means you're defying what the NFL is built for you to do. You are not taking advantage of what the NFL provides you. It just means you're a bad, incompetent franchise.
Ian, top storyline, non-Cam Ward related for you heading into Titans camp.
Non-Cam Ward, I think it's going to be either the offensive line, which is going to be tough to kind of evaluate in camp, unfortunately, with the O-line. Keeping an eye on Latham and his injury status for sure, whether or not he can actually get out there. At least some consistency within the practice of the 5, maybe get a little chemistry. Grant, because you can only do so much in camp with the big guys, right?
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting to see. At least can we have some consistency about who's out there practicing? Can they get into some type of chemistry rhythm? So I'm going to be looking at the offensive line. And then the other thing I think that's going to be important for the team as far as just a baseline this year is going to be the defense. How does it look under Saleh? What kind of rotation are we going to see on the defensive line? Which I guess offensive line and defensive line keeping up with that in training camp is always risky because the big guys can only do so much. But I think the line of scrimmage in particular is going to be something I'm going to look for this year because it's been so up and down the last few years. What kind of consistency can they get out there? Who's going to play? Can they be out there on the reg? That's kind of what I want to see. Chemistry, really, between the offensive line and the defensive line. Because when Vrabel was rolling the 4 and the defensive line, the chemistry and the games, quote unquote, that they used to play about outside guys looping in, Autry or Simmons kind of looping out, those were very effective. Can they come up with something similar with that, with this kind of defensive scheme? Because as long as the defense is okay, that means the floor for the Titans will be solid.
We'll move up. Yeah.
And that, for us to get us to 5-6 wins is a start. Maybe something to build on.
Yep.
Yeah, Dennis, most interested in Oladejo. I mean, I think he's up there. Yeah, like if Saleh can come in and have turned that guy into someone who looks like he has a future in the NFL, that reflects well on Saleh. I think the defensive front's gonna be pretty good.
I mean, I can see,
and that's even without him. I mean, I'm not even really counting him in that equation. What if he is good?
I'm trying to think of like the players outside of Cam that we're most likely to like overreact to on the positive and overreact to on the negative in camp. Like the positive is probably definitely Carnell Tate. Like if Carnell Tate is out there just making plays every day in camp, people are like, they have Jamar Chase out here in camp. And we'll see I'm trying to think of who the negative player would be.
I mean, Latham gets beat by anybody at any point. It will be. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's it.
And they may be, it may not be an overreaction, but it'll be a reaction.
Yep. 615-737-1025. More of your thoughts on Titans camp, plus a developing story in college football that we'll get into coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final segment of the day, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. People throwing out Kevin Winston Jr. Interested to see how he plays.
It is funny how we haven't mentioned him today. I almost feel like he's going to be an assumed nice piece for the defense.
Yeah.
We don't know that. They need him to be.
They need him to be.
TD has given him high praise.
Kuharski hesitant on the Kevin Winston Jr. front.
I made him the breakout player.
You did.
At the Athletic, all 32. But yeah, it's like, is he, is the ball going over his head? Because you want that guy. Certainly we know he's going to be good in the box, but is he, can he play? Can he take the middle of the field and handle that and be a good all-around safety?
That would be nice. The more good all-around players they can get in the secondary, the more I'm cool with it. I mean, I said earlier, like, not only do they need Flott and Taylor to be healthy, because if they're not, that's going to be a big problem for the Titans. They need to be, like, worth the money that they're getting paid, right? Like, I mean, they did invest somewhat heavily into corner this offseason if you want to go by just pure cash. So, like, they need those guys to be worth the money that the Titans have put into it. And, we'll see. Like, do I think that Alontae Taylor is like a number one corner? No, not really. But can you both be like pretty good number twos, right? Like, I'll take that right now. And then eventually they're going to
play all
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually they're going to need to find, not to get back into the draft, but they're going to need to find like that next young stud corner at some point, which is another reason why it's so crucial for all these other positions that they've already invested in to work out, because you're going to need to invest in more moving forward. But yeah, like I would sign up right now for like Taylor and Flott both being like pretty good level two corners, and I'd roll with that. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants the lockdown corner that you can just travel with any receiver that you may come across or whatever. And some schemes don't do a lot of that anyway. But if you are solid at corner and you actually have a pass rush,
yeah,
you'll look a lot more solid. And again, those guys can be available. They can play. That's one of the top positions where I think depth is a real question.
North Carolina has announced this morning, Joe, that their football GM, Michael Lombardi, who has been with Bill Belichick for a long time, has been placed on paid administrative leave by the university. There are no other details that are involved here other than he has been placed on paid administrative leave. It is effective immediately. And the statement that they put out there, quote, as is standard procedure with personnel matters, leadership, staff, and student athletes are prohibited from addressing this topic further and has no reflection on the merits. That was the statement.
Is that English?
That was put out there by North Carolina. Joe, your thoughts on Michael Lombardi on paid administrative leave just before college football season is beginning here.
Let me just real quick read this again. As a standard procedure with personnel matters, leadership, staff, and student athletes are prohibited from addressing this topic further, comma, and has no reflection on the merits. What in the hell is happening in North Carolina? You can't even put out a PR statement that's an English sentence? I tell you what, I know this may be a little hot takey, but I'm telling this Bill Belichick thing is just a complete disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Just an absolute. And before this happened, and again, like you said, we don't know why this happened, but I'm pretty confident it's not just like he's bad at his job. They're all bad at their job. He's Belichick's boy. I mean, so something happened here to get him on administrative leave. Before this happened, I'd have told you, the people who know that program and team, like Ubben has been around them a lot. He lives over there in Charlotte now, and Brendan Marks, our guy who covers hoops, but he knows the athletic department. Like, they're going to be terrible this year. They're going to be terrible. So you got all the Jordan Hudson stuff. You got just no clue about how to compete in this era. You bring in your buddy here, pay him a lot of money to be a GM, and apparently he thinks he's an NFL GM or something. I don't know. Now he's on administrative leave. This is, Belichick's legacy to some extent is secure, but he's doing his damnedest
I
to
was
try
gonna
to
say,
savage
man,
it
like,
right
he
now.
is absolutely, he's doing a great job of tanking it, man. Like, and again, not to get back into like the Brady stuff, but it is objectively amazing looking at his coaching career before and his coaching career after. And I understand there's a long gap in between those two things of before and after, but it is amazing the way that it is played out. It's looking like the college football part of this experiment is just going to be a total failure on that front. And then you get back into the NFL stuff of when Brady left and they just went to crap and he immediately goes and wins the Super Bowl. And it just, to your point, the legacy secure. He's going to, I think, be in the Hall of Fame, even though I was stunned he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But good grief, man. Like, it's doing some damage over the last few years to his legacy.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, first of all, North Carolina, when he emerged.
Good investment.
Well, there were a lot of people at North Carolina, including, I believe, the AD at the time, who were like, we need to go get a up-and-coming rising coach who's going to hopefully be here a long time and build a program. And, it became a battle of money people. And one side won out, and they gave a whole bunch to Bill Belichick. And it appears he is, like, just
incompetent,
doing, like nothing good. I mean, so maybe they'll surprise on the field, but, like, this thing, there's a lot more to come on this story. No clue. Not going to speculate what it is, but you don't put someone and pay them. This is not just like this roster looks bad. It's looked bad the whole time.
Yeah, you're not just making that determination on July the 27th. Yeah.
So now, after all of the stuff that's gone along with Jordan Hudson, who continues to like submit FOIA requests so she can read everybody's emails who works at North Carolina.
She probably put out that statement
I was
today.
going to say, she may have.
I mean, maybe they need her to. Maybe they can give her
Proofread
something
it?
to do.
AI.
Yeah, be a
Perhaps it was AI.
proofreader.
Probably Chat GPT.
I mean, I don't. I seriously, someone needs to interpret that sentence for me. But now you throw this into the mix, and let's find out what the heck happened with Michael Lombardi. Why is he on the verge of getting fired here? Man, it's like Dion and Belichick should just go. We should just put them in the Duke's Mayo Bowl right now and just dunk them both in mayonnaise.
I mean, that's assuming either one of them make a bowl. That's amazing.
I would bet on neither of them actually
Yeah,
making
I
a
think I
bowl
would
game
too.
this year.
I think I would too. By the way, they open up their season. North Carolina does against TCU.
Yeah, in Ireland.
Yeah,
because Bill Belichick was asked about that. Hey, what do you think about going to Ireland? I've been in a lot of Super Bowls. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, we did.
Appreciate it. Good
We
stuff
did know
there.
that.
Well, see how that goes. But yeah, to your point, I don't think you just randomly get put on paid administrative leave if you're Michael Lombardi. So who knows?
It's at least I remember this when people last year like, is North Carolina going to become a football school?
Yeah.
No,
The answer is
it
no.
will not. Ever.
The answer is no. And again,
They might get rid of the program now.
Indiana just won the football national championship.
That's right.
That's going to do it for us today on the program. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.